say now?
Look, the president is still president. You know, he's still very much commander-in-chief. He's still very much the president of the United States, and he's still very much going to lead this country in the way, in the direction that he believes is right. Is the right way to do it. So that doesn't change. That's not going to change.
And just make sure I understood your answer earlier. Yeah. They have spoken about the VP selection specifically, or the
VP selection. That is something, obviously, I can't speak to. The campaign side could speak to. What I can say is, I heard the question as giving advice to the vice president in any way, right? They've spoken many times. I'm just not going to get into private conversation. The VP pick specifically, anything related to that, obviously the campaign can speak to that more if you want more details.
But Vice President Harris won't have extra staff in meetings that wouldn't normally be there for some sort of overlap transition.
I would say that nothing is going to change. The president is the president of the United States. He's going to continue to lead this administration the way that he sees fit. They are partners. They are partners. They have been. She's been, again, a critical partner in some of the big items that we've been able to get done on behalf of this country. Obviously, she's going to play a role as she has done in the conversation. The VP pick specifically, anything related to that, obviously the campaign can speak to that more if you want more details.
But Vice President Harris won't have extra staff in meetings that wouldn't normally be there for some sort of overlap transition.
I would say that nothing is going to change. The president is the president of the United States. He's going to continue to lead this administration the way that he sees fit. They are partners. They are partners. They have been. She's been, again, a critical partner in some of the big items that we've been able to get done on behalf of this country. Obviously, she's going to play a role as she has done in the past.
Did you watch the Prime Minister's speech?
That just ended not too long after I came out here. I have not talked to the president about this, if he was able to catch some of the Prime Minister's speech. Obviously, they're going to, as you know, they're going to be meeting here at the White House. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and the president is going
Thanks, Karine. This was a White House that was operating, obviously, with an eye towards the next 6 months, but also thinking it might have 4 more years.
is pretty consistent, building on the accomplishment that he's been able to get done. That's going to be really important. He's going to look at this remainder of his term, and there's going to be important issues that he wants to get done. Don't have anything right now to lay out, but we want to continue to build on those accomplishments. We've gotten a lot of things done, whether it's healthcare, whether it's the economy, whether it's manufacturing, right? We want to continue to build on that. And so the president is determined. He is determined to get that done.
One of the first major initiatives that the president asked the vice president to lead was to oversee the diplomatic work with Central American countries as it relates to flows of migration. The House Rules Committee yesterday approved a resolution that will go to a vote of the full House, strongly condemning the Biden administration and its orders are the vice president for failure to secure the border. Do you have a response to that? And how would the president characterize what he views as the vice president's accomplishments in terms of overseeing that portfolio?
Really tough, important bipartisan piece of legislation or a deal that came out of the Senate that we were able to get done, and they got in their own way. They got in their own way because they listened to the former president, because they thought it would help Joe Biden. So they continue to block critical resources. That's what they have done for the past 3.5 years. The president is looking for ways to fund to fund security funding to get to the border, right? And he's done that in a record way. And so we're going to continue to fight to make sure that the Border Patrol agents get what they need and get more personnel, thousands of new personnel at the border. That's what we're going to do. The president announced new decisive executive orders to secure the border. Unlawful crossings have dropped by more than 50%. And that's the president acting without Congress by 50%. They are now lowered at this point than they were in 2019 and lower than when the former president left office. And the president's doing that on his own. On his own. They get in the way, he finds other ways to make things happen. That's been the story of this administration.
One more question. Obviously, the Secret Service director resigned yesterday. I'm also curious if there is any consideration to increasing the security around the vice president now, and whether the resources of the Secret Service are affected by that in that decision.
Yeah, that's something for the Secret Service to speak to. That's something for the Vice President's campaign to speak to. I don't have anything to add on that as it relates to protection. Okay.
How are you doing with all of this, Karine?
You care about how I feel?
Are you going to stick around for a potential President Harris administration?
Oh my goodness, let me just get through the day. Can I just get through today?
I do have some other questions.
No, I think that's good. I think we're good. I think we're good.
Karine.
How are you doing? Are you
I'm
good?
doing okay, thank you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you guys haven't had a press briefing since President Biden dropped out of the race. So
The president hasn't been here. He just got here yesterday. And now I'm here taking your questions.
thank you.
And I've taken about 3 or 4 at this point from you alone.
Well, it would seem that people in this White House knew that President Biden was slipping. And it was hidden from the American people. So who ordered White House officials to cover up a declining president?
I know that that is a narrative that you love and
Well,
to...
when he
No,
goes in
wait,
10 days,
hold on.
he did a press conference at NATO. I'm in it. There's all these things that I need to finish. And then 10 days later, I'm dropping out.
Okay, wait, you're asking me like 2 multiple questions here. Let me... Wait. First of all, there's been no cover-up.
Yes.
Okay. To your first question, it is not a cover-up. I know that is the narrative that you all want. It is not. I'm going to say this again, and you're going to hear directly from the president. I hope you listen tonight. I think it's going to be incredibly powerful and important. The Oval Office, presidents, as you know, when they make speeches from the Oval Office, it's because there are important moments that they want to directly make sure that the American people hear from them. And it's obviously going to be done in prime time. I would listen to the president. And then what I will say is that it is not easy making a decision that the president made on Sunday. It is just not. It is not. And as you all reported, it is historic. It is unusual. This is not the norm. And making a decision like that for someone who has been in public service for 54 years, U.S. Senator for 36, President to Vice President to President Obama for 8, and now a first term as president himself. These are not easy decisions to make. They're just not. And so the fact that he was able to make that decision in a selfless way, that's admirable.
One of the decisions he made, President Biden wants Vice President Harris to be the standard bearer of the party now. Does she still want to get rid of ICE?
You have seen what this administration has been able to do in the past 3.5 years, and they did that with the vice president as a partner in that. And Republicans got in the way. The president went around Republicans and was able to get thousands of personnel at the border, and now we are seeing a 50% drop at the border. And that's because of what this president has done.
As a partner, though, she's been in charge of root causes of migration for years. She has never spoken to the Border Patrol Chief, Jason Owens, or the Border Patrol Chief before him, Raul Ortiz. What should that tell us about her leadership style?
She was supposed to be doing root causes, dealing with diplomacy. Diplomacy. Wait, diplomacy. That's what her job was supposed to be. Diplomatic. That's the job. And I understand that you're asking these questions, but we should also look at congressional Republicans who got in the way, literally got in the way of everything that this president was trying to do to deal with the border. They got in the way. They would say one thing and then they would change their mind. They would say, we want border patrol, we want we want a deal on what's happening at the border, and then they would walk away from it. And they did it because of what the former president said. You guys reported that. That's not coming from me. Some of your colleagues reported that the former president said, let's not move forward with this proposal because it's going to help Joe Biden. I mean, that's also the reality. You got to talk about both sides here. Good.
Great.
This is.
I get that you're not going to give us. I get that you might have.
Okay. Yeah. No, go ahead,
Fine.
Peter.
One more. I get that you don't probably want
It's
to give
good to
us
see you too, James.
a specific name, but were there any names that came forward that surprised you of Democratic officials in the last week who stabbed President Biden in the back?
I don't have anything else to say. Go ahead, April.
Karine, really fast, two questions.
Yep.
One on Sonia Massey. This is something that's continued to happen. The president, before he even became president, was really pushing after the George Floyd death, police-involved death.
Yeah.
What is the lesson learned, I guess, if you will? He couldn't get it through Congress, but he did come up with federal executive orders and efforts. But what is the lesson learned from this moment that continues to happen that I guess Kamala Harris might have to start dealing with as well if she becomes president?
I mean, when you say lesson learned, meaning